Hi everyone, welcome back to Scrapping Scotland and welcome back once again to the shed. Today we're going to be taking apart a couple of hoovers. Now these hoovers are by the same manufacturer but they're very different models. The manufacturer is Dyson and the models are the DC04 and the DC39. So the DC39, as you can see, is this kind of smaller roller ball style. I have taken off the dust collecting unit and the hose, so all that has been removed. And then we've got the stand-up unit, okay, the Dyson 04. As you can see, stand-up unit, and again I have taken away the dust collection unit and any additional hosing. So that's all been removed. So what I want to find out today, guys, one, Dysons are expensive. So why are they so expensive? Are the components better than normal hoovers? Do they have really nice big copper motors? Dysons are famous for their cyclone technology. So does that mean that the motors are better than standard hoover motors? Are they all copper or are they aluminium? And are you paying over the odds for essentially components that are just the same as cheaper hoovers? So there's one way to find out, and that's to scrap them and take them apart. Now you can see these holes here, these are where the deep set screws are, and this is where this one comes in. So we've got two at the top here, we'll have two at the side, two at the other side and two at the bottom. Okay guys, so now we've got all the screws out. The little deep set ones were quite awkward, and without this little screwdriver I would actually never got to them at all. It was quite labour intensive trying to unscrew them. I could have taken this whole piece out and stuck it in a drill, but I find sometimes when you do that you can't get a feel for the screw, and it's quite easy to strip the screw, especially when you're dealing with these kind of little heads. Yeah, so okay, so now you should be able to just take this apart. All the screws are out. Okay, so here's our motor unit, and this is the unit that will contain the power cord. So now we need to work out how we get the power cord out. Well, the old pull-it method doesn't seem to be working. Alrighty. So we take the top piece off, and that is so we can expose some of the other screws and then hopefully just pull this other unit out. So take out this screw. As we don't leave metal attached to plastic. And take out these ones. Finally, we can get out the power cord. Power switch. As you can see guys, some brassy goodness in there. We'll get that out as well. So there's our little pieces of brass. No silver contacts on it, which I'm surprised at. I thought there might have been a couple of silver contacts, but there isn't. Okay, this is the spring. We'll get that out as well. That's magnetic, so we're just going to leave it where it is, around this little reel. And that can go on our shred just like that. We've also got a couple of brass rings around this piece. Okay, one ring attached to some wire. And our two brass rings. Here's a power cord. I will strip that power cord. Okay guys, let's get the motor out of this now. Just lift that straight out. Okay, here's our motor. Here's our brass. and a cleaned up wire. Okay, let's start taking this motor apart. Okay, we'll leave this motor until we get the other motor out of the other hoover. So far guys, we have our motor ready to process. We've got our brass, we've got our little brass connectors here as well, we've got our switch, we've got our plug, which obviously contains brass as well, and a little fuse in there, and then we have our insulated wire. So the smaller wire I won't do anything with, I'll just put that into insulated wire. The larger wire I will strip. Remove the plug as close to the top of the plug as possible. If you're sending this in as insulated wire, it's okay to leave this little bit on the end. Now there is still a piece of wire in this, as you can see here. That wire runs all the way down and into the motor. So I want to take this piece out as well. Okay, so now to take apart the motors. Okay. Now a lot of you will say check the motors for copper before you take them apart. Well, regardless, there is brass in here and there's an aluminium fan in here, so we're going to take it apart anyway, but if it's not copper windings then I won't cut the copper off of the stator. Okay, so let's change our little drill bit onto our Phillips. Okay, as you can see, the brush holder is brass. That's great. Sometimes they're brass, sometimes they're steel. It's always good to get the brass ones. I think you actually do get copper ones as well. Now that we've got these off, we need to get this top plate off. I mean, it's off, but that was way harder than it should have been. And because this is brittle plastic, I'm just going to break it so I can grab the commutator on the armature to then hold that from spinning. Aluminium. So our armature. there's our motor. But is it copper? Heck yeah, it is. So we cut through the copper on one side, like so. Do the same on the other side. Now, as I said guys, if this was an aluminium motor, I wouldn't have done this. I'd have just left it together and put it into electric motors. Some scrappers will take aluminium windings out and just put that in with an aluminium. Obviously aluminium is worth more than steel, and it's worth more than electric motors. So it's entirely up to yourself guys how you manage that. Okay, once we've cut both sides, we'll put it in the vise, and then we should be able to just wedge it out. Okay, so there's one bundle. I just twist it just to keep it together. Makes it easier when you're weighing it up. So I just twist it. And there we go, our first piece of Dyson copper. Now we'll go in from the other side and do the same again. Again, brittle plastic, so nice and easy. Okay, we've got a couple of little bits of brass there, as you can see, to clean up as well. Stick the twist on the copper. Okay, and there's our copper from that stator. Now, as I said, we also have the copper on here. I'm not going to do this at the moment, so we'll just class that as an electrical motor at the moment, but in due course I will take this apart as well. Okay guys, as I've said on many videos, no prepared steel in the UK, so that just goes as a shred. Okay guys, motor number 2. I am expecting this one to be copper as well, as the last one was, so I wouldn't expect that they're going to, you know, go downscale on components because it's a different model, but you don't know. Okay, so same again, need to get this top plate off. Okay, so now again we need to get into here. Now the slight issue is this piece that's going around the edge prevents me from getting in underneath the fan and locking that fan in place. So what I can do is I can cut these pieces. Okay, just turning these bits up makes it easier to get inside. Okay, so vice grips in, holding on to the commutator on the armature, and then we can just unscrew it. There are easier ways to do this, guys, but you must play the hand you are dealt. Okay. Not everything can just be taken apart in a couple of seconds. Sometimes it takes that little bit additional effort to get the job done. Okay, so test the copper again, make sure it is copper. And indeed it is. So same again, we cut it one side, we pull it out the other. One side done. Second side done. Then we'll clean up that motor. Okay guys, both Dysons stripped down. As I say, the stand-up Dyson contained a bigger motor than the roller Dyson. Only one way to find out how much more, and that's to weigh everything that we got. Okay guys, let's see how much everything weighed. First of all, we'll go for the insulated wire. Insulated wire from the roller Dyson is 367.3 grams, and that is 13 ounces. Wire from the stand-up Dyson is 518.4 grams, and that's 1 pound 2.3 ounces. Aluminium from the roller Dyson, we got the fan, and we got this additional little piece as well, and that's 44 grams. That's 1.5 ounce. From the stand-up Dyson, we only got a bit of aluminium from the fan that was in the motor. That's 35.8 grams, which is 1.3 of an ounce. Next we'll do our brass. So all the brass from the roller Dyson, including the motor, totals 44.7 grams. That's 1.6 ounce. From the stand-up Dyson is 22.3 grams. And that's 0.8 of an ounce. The armature from the roller Dyson, and remember this would just go as electric motors as it is, it's 343 grams exactly, and that is 12.1 ounces. If we take the other one from the stand up, if we can keep it up, it's 258 grams exactly, and that is 9.1 ounce. Finally, we come to the copper, and again, let's do the roller Dyson first. Okay, that was a nice little motor, and that yields 122.9 grams, which is 4.3 ounces of a lovely copper. For the stand-up Dyson, 117.4 grams, and that is 4.1 ounces. Other little items we got, obviously we got a couple of plugs, and those have brass ends in there. Those are both brass. And we've got a couple of little fuses in there as well. And then we've got a couple of electrical switches. A little electrical switch there that does have a little silver nub inside there. And we have our switch here. It's got our brass, and again inside here there will be a little switch, and I'll process that later when I come to process a big bag of switches. And that's going to be it for this one, guys. As you could see, comprehensively the roller Dyson had much better components in it and better metals in it than the stand-up Dyson, and I'm quite surprised by that. I thought the stand-up Dyson would have more suction power and therefore would have had a bigger copper motor, but not to be. The roller one had more brass, it had more aluminium, and it had more copper, and it was actually the better unit to scrap out. Dyson do use good components. It isn't cheap motors, it isn't aluminium motors, proper copper, proper brass. It's what I like to see. Good components. You know, if you're paying a lot of money for these electrical items, you want to make sure the components that they contain are top quality. So well done, Dyson. You passed the Scottish Scrapper test. You do have good components in your hoovers. Alright, thanks again for watching, guys. If you are not a subscriber to the channel, then crack on and hit that subscribe button. And if you like the video, then please do hit that like button as well. Do appreciate all you guys that share the videos out there as well, guys. That's how we hit big numbers when it comes to videos. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Scrapping Scotland.